And we're from group 1, and we choose to present Thanaka from Myanmar. So the origin of it, Thanaka paste is made by grinding the bark and roots of Thanaka trees with water on a stone slab called a chautin, which has a channel around the rim for the water to drain into. It has seen commonly applied to the face and sometimes the arms of women and girls, and it also used by men and boys.
The first historical reference to Thanakas appear in a poem in 14th century of Burma, but the pigments used likely goes back much further. Today, the organic skin beautifier is so ubiquitous across Myanmar communities, Buddhists, Muslims, and smaller ethnic minorities that it has become a symbol of Burmese culture, such as sorrow.
We usually wear the Thanaka paste to protect from sunlight and to get a better skin. And in Myanmar, the weather is usually hot, and it also can give you a cool texture when you put it on your face or on your body. In early days, we use smooth surface, usually made of stone or concrete, this one, and piece of street thread to make some kinds of paste by wrapping. We wrap it on that surface and with the combinations of water and make the paste. And there are separate three threads that we use to make the paste, and some pastes are even edible, but I don't recommend eating it because no medical expert said that you can eat that. So it's just like a traditional thing, but I don't eat that. And nowadays, we also use ready-made Thanaka that you no longer need the material to make the paste, for instance, like this one. Sorry. This one, and there is already Thanaka in the container, and you just add some water and get the Thanaka paste. You no longer need those strong surface and the tree trunk. In 2018, Myanmar made Thin Yu wore a traditional national costume representing the Thanaka. Although it wasn't nominated at any award, it won by around the world due to a week visual. And this one. And many people Photoshop it because it looked weird. And some foreigner also love wearing the Thanaka when they come to Myanmar. Yes, thank you. And someone will explain the feeling part.
Yes. For the feeling, Thanaka could represent the freedoms and the beauty culture in Myanmar, and is a good product of the sea. And many companies use Thanaka for skincare. Also, Thanaka can represent the beauty of the woman in Myanmar. People who use Thanaka powder tend to feel like good, and because of its good skincare properties. Thank you.
Okay, so for our group 2, our presentation is zebra crossing, or as we know in Thai, Chang Malai. Zebra crossing is a normal thing that we can see in our everyday life, and we maybe look over it, but it actually can be an indicator to many of things. For the origin of zebra crossing, it was created about 2,000 years ago in Pompeii, for the people to walk across the street without getting in the way of cart and water drain. And of course, 2,000 years ago, there's nothing called zebra crossing. Until in 1868, UK tried to reduce the accident rate on the street. They used the gas lamp to warn about danger, but due to its ineffectiveness, it was cancelled. Later in 1930, their attempt to bring back something to warn about danger on the street. So they put a small metal pin on the street to tell the driver that you should slow down, and they use a signal light to tell the people on the street that this is safe to cross now. Then the signal light has been changed to painting the color on the street. like in nowadays, but the original color was yellow and blue or white and red. Until 1951, the color has been changed to white black, like in the modern day, and become well known as zebra crossing. The change and impact of zebra crossing become a sign of the developed countries in terms of safety for people on the street, because in developed country we will rarely see the overpass, or in Thai we call sapan loi, because this is more easier for elderly people to cross the street, and it's more effective in the developed country. It has changed due to the need of the road using, which rises through the year after development of transportation. And technically, the accident rate should be reduced if everyone obey the lawsuit, and in the case society, they does. So in the chaotic society, like the underdeveloped country, it's still a problem. The feeling about the zebra crossing is, in general, it represents the safety and the discipline of the road users, not only the people that cross the street, but also the driver. By walking on the crosswalk, it requires much patience and respect toward another users. Zebra crossing in Thailand is the opposite of all those things that's written above. Law isn't strict enough to enforce people to walk on the crossing line. Even though there are people who walk on the line, they have to face the danger still, because most vehicle users in Thailand don't care about people who walk on the line, and that led to many sadly tragic accidents. That cop who's supposed to protect people by the lawsuit hit nurse who is walked across the zebra line recently. And it makes Thailand people feel more fear than safety than it should be. That's all. Thank you.
And now we are presenting the unisex clothing. So the unisex clothing was originated in France in around 1960s, and it's a part of the Victorian dress reform that make in order to make the men and the women look more like similar, something like that. And the reason to that was in 1960, women clothing in France, they are like really fluffy and heavy, you know. The dress was kind of like big, something like that. So it's not comfortably to wear just like a men clothing. So there is the reform that form called the Victorian dress reform movement, and it happened for the purpose to design and wear a clothing that considering more of the practical and comfortable. Now in the present, this trend starting to boom again, and right now it's not just women that want to have the clothes that wear a little comfortably, but it represents the equality of sex equality, something like that. And on this day, the unisex clothing is represent the equality between men and women.
Change and impact. Back before this clothing trend, and equality between men and women wasn't called equality. Men mostly have more power than women, so the society is dominated by men culture. After this trend, it made people in society more open-minded, more accepting and respecting the diversity of people dress. In society, especially in Thai society, if in the past when people came out to dress like men wearing women coat or women dress like men, people would think it was strange, but now it was very normal. It's like the beginning step that make the value of sex in society change.
And for the feeling, in the present, unisex clothes represent the symbol of sex equality, and because it destroys the border of men and women. Also, we could say that it has a feeling of proud when you wear the unisex clothes, because if you are wearing one, you will feel like you are one of the small little part of the movement that support the equality of sex, equality between men and women. So that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, we are from group 4 and we will talk about the camera. And let's first start with the origin of the camera.
Camera have proven to be great tool for mass media, visual art, and for that enjoyable pastime of being able to capture moment to remember. The first camera that can take permanent photograph was invented in 1826, and in 1888, Kodak was the first commercial camera to be sold. Later on, the camera were used to capture important moments in the history, such as World War I and II, and it continues to improve from Polaroid film to the first professional digital camera in 1991 by Kodak. And nowadays you can use your camera on your phone.
Camera design start to improve over time with more features being offered. It has impacted the way we remember things from our past and capture the things through the time, such as culture, social, and many more.
Camera can connect the world together. You might not understand any other language without learning, but the picture is worth 1,000 words. The image is a universal language that anyone can understand and be touched by. In another perspective, the camera has the power that can help many people. When we see the picture of the people who are in trouble, we really want to help them.
Feeling. Camera could represent the symbol of nostalgic and appreciative when you come back to look at the photos you have taken from the camera. Moreover, if you don't relevant with the event in the photos, the camera can be a tool that is used to tell a story by using the picture to share the feeling too. And it makes satisfied and proud when you are able to take beautiful pictures. So thank you.
Our object, it is the chainsaw. The origin of the chainsaw was originally created by, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The origin of the chainsaw was originally created to help deliver a baby that is trapped in the birth canal by cutting through cartilage and bone of the pubic symphysis in order to widen the pelvis to allow the baby to smoothly be delivered. This was before the advent of the C-section or the cesarean section. The change and impact of this is that because of its effectiveness through cutting through bones and flesh, it quickly evolved into a tool that is primarily used to cut through wood. As a result, it grew to be bigger, stronger, and more lethal than its original designs. Our feeling towards this invention or towards this object is the first time we learned about the chainsaw being created to open the womb and cut the pelvis was very shocked, as the imagery of cutting through bone and flesh through a mid-operation seems very dangerous and deadly, which it is, as the fatality rate of this certain procedure, which is called a symphysiotomy. It is 90% fatal, as if one were to survive, one will either die of infection afterwards. This tool is both cruel but helpful at the same time, because now at least the chainsaws will be used to cut down trees, although cutting down trees is bad for the environment. That is all.